And we're live, bitches!
Catchphrase.
I just realised I finally got my chair back, but you guys have swapped.
Well, it's because we swapped direction, haven't we?
Oh, okay. Damn it.
Does it matter? Do you want us to move?
Nah, it's fine. Are you comfy?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Do you need a drink?
No, I'm good.
Are you alright?
I'm alright.
Can you speak?
Just about.
Just about. Hello there and welcome back to Tripod Talk, the official podcast of What Pictures, where we talk anything and everything about films. Oh, that was my chair. Which was what I'm supposed to say, though. We do tend to go off tangents here and there, but then my chair went off. So, you know, I'm your host, Matt Lidster, and as always, I'm joined by my wonderful co-hosts.
Oh.
Nice.
Hey.
Upgrade.
Upgrade.
Nice.
Mr. Adil Moore.
Hello.
And Miss Sophie Ellis.
Hi.
And today we shall be talking about psychological thrillers. So just before we start talking,
Oh dear.
how you doing? You alright?
Yeah. Is this where we pretend we haven't been talking to each other for like 20 minutes?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, we could just go straight into it if you want.
Sure, let's do that.
Alright.
Don't fuck about.
Let the bodies hit the floor. Let the bodies hit the floor. Right, I'll start off with a bit of film news, shall I?
Chaos.
This was one of the most interesting pieces I could find. Like I just... like I didn't find it 5 minutes ago. But Amazon Studios, you know Amazon, everyone loves them. Yeah? Looks to shake up the movie business as it moves into self-distribution.
Ooh.
Oh.
Amazon may be a new media innovator, but when it comes to making movies, the company isn't selling itself. I don't know, it's just going on about shit. Basically, they're coming up with their own films and...
Can you think of any TV shows that are Amazon? Because I have Amazon Video because you can get a trial for like 6 months as a student and basically it gets no action beyond Netflix. So I can't really think of any specific shows that they've made that are good. I don't know whether that's indicative that like the films aren't going to be that great either.
Yeah, I mean, the first thing that comes to mind is Preacher.
Yeah, Preacher's alright.
And
I don't think it's great though.
there was that one with Jeffrey Tambor in it, where he's like a
Transparent.
cross-dresser. Is that the one?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, again. Never really got into it, or
Yeah.
it wasn't really talked about afterwards.
I'm not surprised that they are though.
Was Mr. Robot a series from Amazon Prime?
Amazon, yes it was.
Was it originally though, or was it like I think it might be one of those that like was made by a TV channel and then Amazon bought it, or like the TV channel cancelled it and then Amazon took it and stuff. But maybe not. It feels like it was around before Amazon was making TV shows.
We sure do our research.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Oh, this is the podcast where Sophie silently goes into mute mode.
Silently goes into
Silently. More film news. Blade Runner 2049 first reactions. Critics call film a sci-fi masterpiece.
Oh shit.
And better than the original.
Well, I didn't think the original was that great.
I still need to see the original, so... Yeah, I've seen bits of it, but...
Gets weirdly rapey.
Oh!
Yeah. All those old school like action films sometimes do, and you forget that was just kind of normal back then. Yeah, I'm excited about that. I like the cast.
Are you?
In fact, Harrison Ford actually seems to be vaguely enthusiastic about it.
He
Like,
seemed
if
quite
he's
enthusiastic since Star Wars, since, spoiler alert, he died.
Yeah. Well, like
It's
he
been 2
only
years,
signed
cool.
on because they killed him off. Like,
Yeah.
I think this one he's actually more into, which is cool.
Yeah,
So yeah, we'll give that a shot.
we will, indeed. Maybe in the future.
Yeah.
Maybe not next week, because I know what's coming up next week. But production begins on the 1 billion Avatar. Well, just 1 billion Avatar sequels, because he's got that many planned, apparently.
Yeah, he's got like 16 or something.
16?
Yeah,
Last time I heard it was 4.
There's 4 specifically, and then there's like I'm sure he's got like a plan for 12 in the universe and stuff
Oh
like
my
that.
god, that's too many.
Yeah.
He's left it too long.
Well, I thought I really didn't like the original like Avatar
know?
film either. I thought it was a shit film in terms of an actual storyline. It was so dull.
Yeah.
It's just people like, ooh, everything's blue. It's 3D. Wow.
Yeah, it was the first time the new 3D kind of
I
came out
understood
as
it
well.
as a gimmick, but I didn't really think it was worthy of, especially now like that technology's so dead. Like nobody gives a shit about 3D. It's just not something that really matters anymore. So
No.
I'm surprised that he's pushing it.
For something that was so big, I remember reading something about this. It's weird how it's not really affected our culture. Like, you know, films that you'll still hear, you know, you get lines from, like, Scream, and, like, the Scream mask is still about, you know, stuff to do with what's in our pop culture now, but Avatar's just nowhere, considering it's the highest grossing film of all time.
Yeah.
Is it the highest grossing film of all time?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I think that's more like marketing kind of, and like just word of mouth jumped about it being.
Yeah.
I think as well, like whether films do well at the box office have a lot to do with when they come out. Because sometimes they'll be like, you'll look to go to see a film and there'll be like 4 you really want to see, and then you won't watch 3 of them. And other times you'll look to watch a film and they'll all be trash, or like there'll be one decent one. So I think like sometimes you're actually better off releasing it at a time away from awards and stuff like that.
Has proved it's worked as well, because like I know we keep talking about it, this is the last time I'll rate it up, but it just came out September, that's a good time for it, and then a couple of years ago Star Wars first came back in December when nothing else was really out as well, whereas this year it was like Wonder Woman, Spider-Man, Dunkirk, all them films came out at the same time, and that.
Yeah, because I still haven't seen Wonder Woman.
I've still not seen it.
I talked to a lot of people I know who are like into those kind of films, just never got around to it because there was other more important. There was like a Nolan film out at the same time, so obviously that goes first.
Yeah.
Oh god, my voice is going.
Oh dear. And then I'll just wrap it up with this last bit of film, just because it's a bit fucking weird. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to swear. Notorious criminal Charles Bronson wants Tom Hardy to father his child.
Standard.
I'm sure he'd listed a second option as well, didn't he? Like he said, if not Tom Hardy, somebody else. Well, Tom Hardy played him in the film, didn't he?
Yeah, played him in Bronson.
Played him really well in Bronson.
Which is why it's film news, if you just wondered why. But, yeah, very weird.
It's a strange... What does he mean? Did you actually read the article, or did you see the headline?
No, I just saw the headline.
Alright, fine, so did I, so fuck it. We can't really talk about it.
So that was the best film news you came across?
Yeah, pretty much.
In the last 10 minutes.
Okay, so psychological thrillers.
Yay.
We got a recommendation last year. Feels like last year.
Yeah, it does. Wow.
No, last week from Miss Sophie Ellis. Donnie Darko.
Yeah.
What did you think of the film?
I'll let you go first.
Oh, will you? Well, I'd watched it before and I remember liking it, but definitely not getting it too much. But I think that was in my kind of teenage arrogance of I just presumed I got it ahead of everybody. Yeah. And when I watched it this time, I'm fine. I was every now and again I'd check my phone and look back at the screen and be convinced I'd missed something really important in something. It's a film that you definitely have to pay full attention to, and maybe you can think about it afterwards. But I really did. I did enjoy it. It had its own weird vibe that they get is kind of cool to see.
Yeah, no, it was a very strange film. It was always seeming as though it was building up to something, but I couldn't tell what it was gonna be. So it's just where is this leading? Where is this going? And then by the time I actually got to the final scene, I was still where is this going? Okay, now he's I won't go into spoilers yet, but yeah, it just seemed kind of a bit nonchalant, really.
Did you like it?
I thought, I really liked the acting. The acting was good. Jake Gyllenhaal was very good in the film. Drew Barrymore was a bit hit and miss.
He executive produced it though, which I didn't know. Which I
noticed
actually
that
can't
on
give
the
him credit
credits.
for. That's pretty cool. Wow.
You alright? So I was just having a bit of a moment here.
I thought it was...
Oh dear, it's really going.
I thought it was called Gyllenhaal, not Gyllenhaal.
Oh.
Yeah, you just say Jake Vagina Hole.
Vagina hole, no.
Yeah.
I didn't say
I
that.
think it's cool that he got his sister in to play his actual sister, because apparently they couldn't really cast that. By the way, I thought one moment where the acting was amazing. I don't know if you noticed it specifically. Was when, so when he's died right at the end. Spoiler.
Oh gosh, don't.
Oh shit. Well, fuck it. Well, when he's at the end when they're stood in their yard and they look at she cycles over and the parent and you get a reaction shot from each of the parents as the body goes by and the family. I thought they were all really his sister Maggie Gyllenhaal did some weird chewing thing that was really cool. You could tell she was trying to control herself. Even the little sister was really good.
Yeah.
The dad had some weird grimace on, but I just thought when you see grief in films, too often people go big and dramatic and shaking tears and stuff. And the mum was having a cig and just shaking a little bit. I just thought they were all really good in that few seconds.
Yeah, I picked up on that as well.
Because I've not really seen the parents in anything else. I don't know if you can think of them being recognisable.
Wait, who was?
His parents. But
Not in any other film that I can think of. No.
Yeah, like it did seem cast pretty well, just the background characters and stuff.
Though, ever since, it's a bit of a like tangent, but ever since I've seen Santa Clarita Diet, have you seen that series on Netflix?
No, I've
Watch
heard
it.
about it though.
Watch
Yeah.
it.
It's got Jennifer Dolphin on, who I really like.
Yeah, it's so bad it's good, and she's like, it's a good premise. There's good characters in it, but just Drew Barrymore herself is really weird as the main like character.
She just doesn't fit the casting.
And also just some choices that either she made or like the directors made about the characters. It's very odd. Just kind of if you give it a go, you get into it, and then you end up really liking it. But anyway, back to Drew Barrymore. Ever since I've seen that, she's always been really weird in films. Like in Scream, she's really good. Other things like 50 First Dates, excellent. This one, yeah.
Yeah, she's. I get the sense of, like, I'm saying this off very little actual factual information, but like, she seems like she insists she gets a part if she she likes to produce stuff to make sure she gets a part in it and stuff like that. Because that's what she did with Donnie Darko, and I didn't really like her casting as that teacher.
No.
I thought she was like, I don't know, it should have been somebody a bit weirder, and like the way she kind of like asked the girl sit next to the person you think's most attractive and whatever.
Yeah.
She didn't pull off the right kind of vibe that character had. She's a bit too like, I don't know.
Trying too hard to be spunky.
Yeah.
So what do you think of it, Zoe?
I didn't like it.
At all.
No, like I was really fascinated by it when it finished. I looked into it a lot, but then after thinking about it over the past few days, I don't like it. I think it's trying too hard to be too different. And the fact that Patrick Swayze was in it as a paedophile really threw it off for me.
I didn't know who Patrick Swayze is, so that wasn't a factor for me.
You don't know who Patrick Swayze is?
I know all like good film history.
No way.
You seen like Dirty Dancing?
Yeah.
Is that him?
I've not seen Dirty
Ghost.
Dancing.
Ghost?
Ghost is what? Is that the clay thing?
Yeah.
Alright.
Roadhouse?
No.
Roadhouse.
Anyway.
Is that the
Yeah.
Tarantino one? No, it's Grinder. No, it's Grindhouse.
No, it's
Grindhouse? What?
Grind?
I don't know.
So what was the story of the film, Adele?
Don't make me.
Damn
do
it,
that.
I was going to ask you that.
Oh, this isn't fair.
Uh.
Alright, fine. So he's a kid who's got some kind of mental health issues. They think he might be paranoid schizophrenic. He sleepwalks at night and he doesn't know where he ends up. He's on a lot of medication. Then what happens? So basically the film starts with he's off sleepwalking and a jet plane engine lands in his bedroom, would have crushed him. They don't know where it came from because they can't find the plane. Everyone's like, oh weird, he would have died if he was in, but he was sleepwalking. Blah, blah, blah. And then he starts to see this giant freaky bunny rabbit called Frank. Frank starts to talk to him, tell him to do some fucked up stuff. Eventually, kind of, he starts to work it out because there's also a crazy lady in the neighbourhood who wrote some book about time travel. He starts to get a theory that Frank's time traveling, and he starts to piece little things together. And so he eventually kind of, see again, I don't know how much of this to really say because I didn't really know myself until I looked after the film. But like, I don't know what else happened. He gets a girlfriend. She ends up, and then he gets working out basically that the time travel is kind of a rip in the time thing, so that he's in like effectively this parallel universe for the next however long, and because of the jet engine thing, that was like something sent from a parallel universe. I don't know. And what happens at the end? His girlfriend gets killed. He sees the guy in the bunny costume and he shoots him, even though it's just a guy going for Halloween. And then he works out that like he's messed it all up, and then so he goes home and goes to bed, and the jet engine, and then goes back in time, right?
Yeah.
And then the jet engine comes through and kills him. Does it?
Yeah.
Okay. I feel like I missed a fair bit, but I don't really know. It was a lot. Because I watched the director's cut. I think was the one you watched like 2 hours and 20 minutes long.
No.
Because they released a director's cut like 10 years later apparently, and I think I watched that one. So it might be that mine made more sense than yours did because mine, they had a chance to fill in the gaps a bit.
I don't think it's a film that can fully make sense anyway.
No.
But it does say that, like obviously he died so everything went back into place, but he didn't need to die because that crazy old woman had survived that experience. But I still don't understand what the hell the entire thing was. There's that little girl who had the book that had Donnie Darko's name on it.
She just fancied him, I think.
Because he was like, she wore earmuffs because she didn't like hearing what people had to say to her, and like, but loads of people have theorized that she's like an angel sent to look after him, and
oh shit.
Yeah, it goes really deeper than that. It's
little
weird.
Fat Chinese angel.
Yeah.
That's not the standard image you have in your head.
Well, we all need one.
But she was smiling at the end, so like my search history, I just saw it was like Donnie Darko. Donnie Darko explained. Donnie Darko Chinese kid, fat Chinese kid, fat Chinese kid smiling. She was smiling at the end.
You said you had like 700 Google searches.
Yeah, this is why.
Because you you just reword it a million times.
Yeah, so I can get something that makes more sense. I have no idea how many I've got.
To be fair though, like I like the fact that the guy pushed it a bit. I prefer films where they don't like spoon feed you every bit of everything that's happened.
Yeah.
And this film's like the exact opposite of that. Like they barely make it obvious, or like they barely even make it visible if you're paying complete attention what's going on. So I kind of like that side of it, that they don't. And I've noticed with people either think it's an incredible like masterpiece and one of their favourite films, or it just goes over their head. But I also kind of like things that are like that like massively, like you either really connect with you or they just don't make sense to you. Like there's almost like an elitism about that. That's cool.
There was like certain scenes that throw you off, you know, that are like 4 or 5 seconds long and something happens or someone says something that's so out of place where you're like, wait, what? Because we did that, didn't we? There was certain scenes where the parents were talking and it had no relevance to anything, and it's such a short scene and didn't need to be there. So it just made it feel like the entire film shows that there's no point to life, and it was building up to nothing at the end of it.
It's like a lot of the stuff with the psychologist didn't seem to make much sense to me either.
No.
Although it had a couple of good laughs at the beginning. I can't remember one, but do you remember when they were sat around the dinner table and he calls her like a fuck ass or something like that.
Yeah.
It's weird, like it started out with a couple of jokes here and there, and then eventually you could tell like maybe the director was like, I'm going to go in a different direction with the writer, and he just cut it and there was just no more laughs at all. But it's funny to see, like you could tell it was definitely somebody who was a bit more kind of new to it, who like had this idea, got a bunch of money together and big names attached to it, and then it almost kind of, the film was made before he was really ready.
Yeah. Because
I think maybe with like a bit more experience and time to play with it, I think it could have been like a much more coherent film.
Yeah.
I think it was a good experiment. It was a good starting off point into something else maybe, but...
Would you recommend it?
No.
No.
I
think there's much better psychological thrillers.
Yeah.
Which we'll get to, hopefully. Yeah, cool. I think it's an interesting film to give a go, though. Like, especially it depends on the person. I think certain people you would want to recommend it who are a bit more kind of out there and experimental, and it might click with them. But it's also like it's not at all made for mainstream appeal.
No.
And that's the thing, is it's not trying to be either, so it's not really an issue in my eyes.
Yeah, that's a good point. There's only one kind of big issue that I had, was why the bullies were in that thing at the end.
Which, wait.
You know, when they pull the knife on his girlfriend, like, why were they there?
What do you mean, those two bullies specifically?
Yeah.
Yeah, because they were in that old woman's house with like these massive ass knives, and then jumped out and had the knife to the throat until she got like run over.
Yeah.
That's true.
Right.
I'm trying to remember. I'm sure they like... Did he say in the one you watched, I've got a bigger knife now? Because I think it's in the longer cut. The bully, do you know, the not Seth Rogen one? He gets Donnie Darko with a knife through his throat in the bathroom at school.
Oh yeah, no, that
happens, and then he says, you've got a bigger knife now. So I think maybe there might have been something, there must have just been like a deleted scene where he pissed him off and they were hunting him.
Yeah.
But I know like the girlfriend died deliberately just to kind of set him over the edge effectively from a narrative point of view.
Yeah. That's weird.
And like him laughing, because he apparently like, that was all kind of, you know, like he laughs right before he goes to sleep, and like that's because it was kind of like a dream to him, and he just doesn't really remember all of what's happened once the decision's been made.
See, it's weird because again, I was reading theories where he was laughing because he's accepted his relationship with God and stuff like that.
I thought, yeah.
So
all of that weird shit. They do push God in a bit as well.
Yeah.
Which I don't know.
It's quite nice because it kind of makes you, even though I wouldn't say it's the best executed film, it's still quite a good thing to
I
debate and talk
I feel
about.
like it'd be like the kind of thing I'd make where there's like a million different ideas that are all like excited kind of out there ideas, but like not something keeping like everything on point.
Yeah.
So you could have just done with a bit more of an organised kind of rundown. But I like the fact it's ambitious.
Yeah.
Cool though.
I think that's a film that I wouldn't mind if it got remade.
Ah, that's interesting, yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be
Yeah, I
cool.
wouldn't mind that being remade, actually.
I don't know who played the kid though, but again, we're bad at these discussions because we don't really, there's not really young actors out there that I really think.
Will Poulter.
I mean, he's the guy. I was going to say him again, but like it feels like it's kind of a cheat.
You know what was really weird, just as we're recapping, was it like the opening scene? Someone had an It book.
Oh yeah, his mum.
Oh,
How
yeah,
weird
I
is
saw
that? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's a nice little callback to last week. Well, shall we move on to the draft, Sophie? I think we've talked about the Donnie Darko.
Sure. I can.
Okay, so now we're going to do a little thing called the draft. This is what we do every week. It's where me and Adil, the boys...
Although from now
It's
on,
changing next week.
Oh yeah, we're changing it next week, but still, this is the last time
the
we'll be
boys.
the boys will be going exclusively against each other because we're going to change things up a little bit next week. But basically, someone gives a scenario to the other two about using characters from this genre, and we've got to kind of battle it out to see who would win in that situation.
We can use any characters from any film in the genre to try and fill out the roles that are given to us.
Yeah, so last week we had a King Kong Godzilla hybrid against a Bond body.
Making all the mums wet.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. So, what do we have this week, Sophie?
Drop that into every episode.
What, Daniel Craig? Making mums wet.
We'd have to spread it out to other people, but yeah, just something about people's mums.
That could be a t-shirt. Sorry.
We also need the famous Dill for Jen.
Hashtag Dill for Jen. We'll get into that later.
Oh, Christ.
But Sophie, what are we talking about?
You wake up in a soul-like trap after being drugged.
Jesus.
You notice that there are 3 other people in the room with you. Pick 3 characters that would be ideal to be in that situation with you, whether it be someone to take on the attacker, a smart thinker, or someone with experience within that situation.
Alright.
That's interesting.
So it's like a perfect team. I'll
Alright, do
explain
you want
why.
to go first or shall I?
I went first last week.
Alright, I'll go first. That's fine. Right, for my first person then, I've already got this. I've got one person I'm very excited for and then I'm stuck.
Okay.
So I'll try and drag the first guy out. I'm going to take Christine Bale from The Prestige.
Okay.
I'm thinking magic. He'll be
yeah.
able to kind of illusion his way out of here. He's also a bit kind of intense and he's got like a bit of a dark side, so we can use that as well. Who else do we want? So we've got the trap. 3 drugs in the trap, 3 others in the room. Brad Pitt from Fight Club, just because every guy wants to be Brad Pitt from Fight Club. He can fight, he's charismatic, he's intense, he's imaginary, so he can do what the fuck he likes.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not imaginary, he's a second personality, but whatever.
I think you took one of Matt's ideas then.
And for my third person, I am going to go for the Zodiac Killer from Zodiac.
Oh.
He's not a character, but again, he's evaded like police attention for however many years, getting away with murders. He's clearly super intelligent and cunning, and if we are getting trapped by an evil guy, I've got a more evil guy on my side.
Nice.
So there's my 3.
Yeah.
Well, gosh darn, I thought you were going to go for my Christine Bale character.
Which is...
Well, you didn't. Which is Patrick Bateman.
Okay.
From American Psycho.
I was thinking that.
He's handsome, he's fit, he's muscular, and he's also a psychopath. He has no remorse whatsoever. He's going to get the job done. Doesn't matter who's in his way or what or why.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I love the fact that because he's like good looking, that's one of your points
That
when
was
you're in
your
a soul
first
trap.
point.
He's fit, alright? Let me have the point.
Well, yeah. Secondly, I'm going to go with Amy Dunn, Rosamund Pike's character from Gone Girl.
Nice.
Oh,
Very manipulative, very ahead of the game. She plans out her way. She's a strategist. She's going to help us get through.
Like it.
And our last guy, with a multitude of skills, very tactile, I can't even say it, is Eames, Tom Hardy's character from Inception,
Oh, okay.
who proves himself very capable in that film to be in any situation whatsoever and still be able to take people out.
Oh, Jesus.
I think
These are good.
Let's have a look who mine are again.
Is there,
Pretty attractive group of people.
is there
Both sides.
any questions you got for each other's?
Yeah, how's dying feel like, bitch?
The thing is, you say that, Amy Dunn hates men, she's just going to kill both your other guys and walk out alone. I mean, you'll definitely have a success rate, but it'll only be a third. No, yeah, I think we're both okay. We both got like intense, crazy ass people.
I think we'd both kick the shit out of Jigsaw, is
Yeah.
what I'm saying. So I think we both win.
I mean, we gave up on the voting thing quite quickly anyway. I just remember that we actually tried that. So
Yeah.
maybe we just every week decide we both win. I'm on board with that. This one does seem... go on then.
It's very close.
Right, I'm going to say then, from now on, because we're changing it around,
Yeah.
we have to, whoever's kind of the draft person has to pick somebody. You
That's-
can't cop
yeah.
out. There's
Starting
no
from
copping
this
out.
week?
Starting from this week.
Alright, can you recap your characters, please?
So I had
Did you?
Brad Pitt from Fight Club.
Yeah.
I had
Christine Bale.
Zodiac Killer and Christine Bale from Prestige.
The Zodiac Killer is a very good one to have on your team.
Yeah, but when you've got
Got
someone
magician
like
as well.
Patrick Bateman.
Yeah, I
He's
suppose.
a rich guy who kills women.
Oh, yeah.
So a guy who kills women and a woman who hates men are on the same team.
Brought together by Eames.
Sounds like a terrible
Who
sitcom.
plays both a man? He plays both a man and a woman in the film that he was in, so he'd be able to get on both sides. So he also took the form of a woman in Inception. So
I just imagine him talking to like Bateman on there, and then all of a sudden turning around to Doctor and like putting a wig on.
what a scene that would be!
Like, take it off.
Or like half face, like he is in Bronson.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
See, I think your situation would be more fun to watch as a film. Like, I think that'd be an interesting concept of those characters, but I do think having Zodiac really does pull it, because they're more manipulative.
You've
like,
got to
they
pick
know
one,
what's
so you don't have to
going
be too apologetic about it.
on. Oh, no, I'm not. I'd probably say yours,
Okay.
which is Dill.
Yeah, I didn't think that either.
Fair enough.
Alright, cool.
Sounds mate.
Well, now
That's
starts,
alright.
now starts the tallying. We'll do a league table.
Every
Yeah,
10th
God.
episode, someone gets a prize.
Oh,
Yeah.
who's
cool.
funding the prize?
No idea.
Whoever loses.
I mean, I think we were all kind of looking forward to this one because it is a genre that we're all really into generally. Like, possibly one of my... Just looking at the list of films that came up when I was looking at this, like, every one of them I was like, oh, really, really good, kind of quite inventive films in there.
Yeah.
So just tell us some of your favourite films then.
Alright, so looking at the list, I think Memento's got to be one of
Yeah.
my favourite films of all time, just in terms of the construction, and I like Guy Pearce a lot as well. I think he's massively underrated. So I think that's a big one. Seven's up there.
Yeah.
I also, one of my favourite things about Seven is the whole, you know, like Kevin Spacey didn't get credited. Nobody, he wasn't in the marketing or media beforehand, so nobody knew he was in the film. And like, so when he does show up as the bad guy, it was a complete surprise to everybody in the world. And I think that's kind of a cool little, do you know, like what Darren Aronofsky tries to do with Mother, but with actually a good film. Like, I think it's cool from his point of view that he wanted to do that.
Shade.
Yeah, unlucky man. The Machinist as well, but I think that's more just for Christian Bale, just because, like, you know, the weight fluctuations he was going through at that time. Like, he was like 215 pounds. Then he, like, in like 9 months he went down to like 100, like, I think he ate an apple and a can of tuna a day for
I've
that
heard
film,
those
and he lost like
numbers,
70 pounds. He'd disappear for like hours on end, because apparently, oh no, that's a different person. I was about to talk about Prisoners as well as another good film, quite a recent one, which not a lot of people have seen.
Hugh Jackman and Jake, our boy Jake.
Yeah, because I was
Jake
just thinking,
what?
that's what I was thinking.
Gyllenhaal.
Nice. The disappearing for days reminded me of Jake Gyllenhaal. Like, I can't remember what film he was shooting, but he was making a film, and when he found out Heath Ledger died, and apparently he did the same thing. Like, he just disappeared for a couple of days, and he just came back and just never talked about it. It's an interesting way of dealing with dealing with your problems.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think those are some of the ones that are up there for me. Is there anything particular of those or any other ones that you think that jump out at you?
For me, particularly, the number 23, Jim Carrey.
Oh, I've not seen that actually.
No.
I wish I did.
I'm a big fan of Jim
Yeah.
Carrey and Robin Williams, and I think there's around that time there's a few comedy guys who could go drama and just fucking crush it.
This is the one where he absolutely crushes it. I reckon it's a better performance than Truman Show.
Oh really?
I love that film.
Yeah, I like Truman Show.
A couple of other films, Shutter Island, though I think
Yes.
that's overrated personally. I still think it's a really good film, but I just don't think it's as hype as it should be.
I need to watch it again.
love it. I absolutely love that film.
I think it's
But we
one.
disagree on the ending.
Have you seen it once, or have you seen it? I think it's one you have to watch multiple times, basically.
I went through like a phase. You know how I watch films repeatedly?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I did that with the film. And I still love it.
Psycho's up there for me as well.
Yeah, Psycho's on my, on my list. Though I do prefer the series that's been developed, Bates Motel.
It's a good show, that. Although I like the fact Psycho's a really good one, I think, from like a actual filmmaking. Like, if you just that scene, you know, the scene in the shower. Apparently that's one of the most useful like scenes just to show someone in terms of how to actually, because there's tons and tons of cuts in there and different camera effects.
Literally. But ironically, no cuts were ever made. It was just a stabbing motion.
Yeah, because it was like there was weird rules then, wasn't there, about like ratings and stuff. So they couldn't show blood. There's still weird rules about it now, to be honest.
Well, I mean, George's arm just recently being ripped off.
Yeah, but like they could get away with that because they didn't show the act of. Oh no, that didn't matter with it. I think with like other stuff, like you can show bloody remains and like the aftermath of stuff, but you can't show the actual act of it. But it's a weird distinction to make that for like a 12 you can see someone's like detached arm with blood coming out of it, but it then become an 18 if you just saw someone yanking the arm out, this whatever.
See, going back really quickly, I know we're talking about the films, the Bates Motel series.
Mm-hmm.
You know how we were saying about casting people you don't necessarily know? Did you see who...
Kid from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
No.
Well, yeah,
That's
he's
the
on about
lead.
the main character.
Yeah, I don't know who you're talking about.
Oh, he's in One Tree Hill as well. Oh no, okay, don't matter. I'm on about the new character. Do you know who's the one that's been taking over the shower scene?
No?
Rihanna.
Oh, fuck off.
Yeah. Like a really well-developed series.
I remember hearing that Rihanna was going to be in it, because she's
Yeah.
pushing to be in films now, isn't she?
Yeah.
Not very well, but...
Ugh.
Yeah,
She
but
was in
I've not seen it
Battleship.
yet.
Which I've seen multiple times because it's always on like film 4 and I end up watching it.
Any psychological thrillers stick out for you, so?
Well, we went through a phase of watching really bad ones. So there's like
Yeah.
The Circle, Cube. As much as I don't like Cube because the acting was just that bad that it was more funny to watch, if they redid that, I reckon it'd be such a good concept of going...
You said they were,
Through.
didn't you?
Yeah, they will be doing it at some point, or
Yeah.
doing an additional film. The others, Nicole Kidman,
Oh, yeah.
is another one, and Hard Candy, which I'm still yet to see.
I was
but
just
I'm
going to
gonna
talk about that, yeah.
It is on my list to see since you said you wanted to watch it.
I was going to say, like, there's a couple of lesser known ones I was going to say people should, like, definitely worth seeing. Hard Candy is one of them.
Yeah.
It's just a really good concept. Again, it's kind of based off a Japanese film, apparently, but they don't totally destroy it. And as well, I don't know if you've seen it, Primal Fear.
No, but I've heard of it.
It's Edward Norton's first film. It was like a massive deal to cast it. Richard Gere's in it. It's kind of like a lawyer thing, but it's got an amazing twist at the end. Like, it's one of those where, a bit like Fight Club, where you're like, how did I not see this twist coming?
Ah, really?
He got like I think he got like an Oscar nomination or something for it, even though it was his first film.
Oh,
But that's one I'd recommend just for the twist, to be honest. Like, the storyline's good throughout, but it catches you so off guard and that you didn't get it. It's kind of an older one, but
Oh, I'll watch that then.
that's another one to look out for.
There's one that's really off the radar, but it's actually kind of going back to Psycho and going back to Alfred Hitchcock. There's a film called Rear Window. Have you ever seen it?
Window, yeah. The
Have
one
you
with
seen it?
Is it Jimmy Stewart's in like a wheelchair?
Yeah, James Stewart, yeah. And it's basically just this guy who's in a wheelchair, and he's stuck in his apartment because he can't do anything. So he starts to get addicted to like looking out of his window and spying on his neighbours.
And his apartment's like, it's got a courtyard in the middle, and you can see across to like other people's apartments opposite, and it's like enclosed spaced. And he starts to get like crazy theories about stuff going on, and other people show up to kind of keep it fresh. But basically, it all happens in this one apartment.
That's cool.
Yeah, and it's a really good build up because something's actually going on as well. So that's a good.
Use music well as well. I mean, they kind of had to because there's nothing else to see. Like he's not going anywhere. There's no action. He's guy in a wheelchair, but it is that's a good one as well. I'd say. I've watched Vertigo as well. I don't know if you've seen that.
No, it's always been on my watch list, but I just never have.
I think that's another one that's more cool as like a film in its creation than particularly like an amazing piece of like, you know what I mean? Like it's a better piece of cinema than it is a film. Just because of how ahead of his time he was with effects he used to kind of create feelings and stuff like that, and like seeping things in from the background. But yeah, cool.
Yeah, I was looking through some, but then if you look into them further, they don't actually come under psychological thriller. Like obviously we spoke about there's so many different genres. But if you type in psychological thriller, Black Swan comes up, even though that's down as like a mystery, drama, everything else.
There's someone that was on my list actually. That's a recommendation. I saw someone wrote that it was like the female equivalent of Fight Club, and I was like, no, it's not.
It's just soft porn, isn't it?
No.
I think it's super dark. It's like well, for one thing, that whole ballet world is fucked up as hell. Like, you're destroying your body. They like encourage anorexia, and it's incredibly competitive. There's just always someone looking to take it, and there's no long term in it either.
Yeah.
Like you're not going to see a 25-year plus ballet. So I think they kind of used that as a backdrop for just a deep, like dark character study.
Yeah, which it really is.
But I've not seen it.
I don't know where you got softcore porn from.
Because everyone was talking
Mila
about
Kunis and
I've got like one scene in the film, but like that's it. Like all the rest of it is to do with like her mental deterioration, and like the whole kind of culture behind that, and how everyone's trying to outdo each other and stuff. And it's a really high pressured world that they live in.
I was actually reading something the other day. I think it was weird. Like Natalie Portman was talking about, I think like she did one nude scene when she was quite young, and she was just talking about the fact that like it's a weird one because she can understand why it needs to happen in the context of the film.
Yeah.
But she knew like every time I'm going to do one of these, it's going to get taken out of the film and put like separately on porn websites, and then it kind of, I don't know. There's so many different like actresses seem to have such different attitudes to it. Yeah. Some of them are just like, well, in real life people are naked, so I'm just going to be naked and it's not a big deal. Whereas to others, I don't know. I do think it is off-putting though sometimes where you watch a film and it's so clear that like one actor's has got like a no nudity clause or something, and they're just in a bra all the time having sex, and it's just like, okay.
That's just a personal preference.
Yeah, but then like even when they do the strategic pulling the sheets up and stuff like that, it's just distracting. Like, do you know when like in old films and stuff when people go have sex, they like pull the covers over themselves, and like it fades out.
See, I understand that, but like a few people, even say my parents and stuff, they don't understand why they also have to show that sort of stuff as well. So I think that with that sort of film, it's more sort of friendly to even like younger teenagers that would watch films like that. You know, like if there's sex and stuff in it all the time, it might not be something they're into.
But then I think as well, like you can go the other direction and kind of scare kids away from it by like the whole, if a sex scene comes on, like you feel super uncomfortable and you look away and you won't like make eye contact with your parents and stuff. Like, and then whereas like you can watch somebody getting gunned down and shit when you're 8 with your dad watching Die Hard, and it's not a big deal. Like just the attitudes towards like sex and violence, the disparity in which we're kind of taught to look at it probably isn't that healthy.
Plus that
like it's like a big still
scare. Such a kind of cause to debate as well, that it's still something that's going on. So.
No, it's hard. You can't really come up with a hard and fast rule on it. Like, I also don't really agree with the whole film class, like ratings 15, 18, whatever anyway. I mean, in an ideal world, you just leave it to like the parents having some kind of like awareness of the kid, but it's hard to, well, I don't know. There's a lot of, you know, kids going to take advantage and stuff like that, and it's going to affect other people other ways.
Yeah.
Even with like things, I don't know. I think that's like a general thing with me though. like driving. Some people, just 17 so arbitrary. Some
Yeah.
people are fine to drive when they're like 14 because they're mature enough, and some people are just never ever going to be safe to drive
Yeah.
because their fucking mongs will go out drunk driving and stuff.
See, I think the only time that the ratings and stuff are decent is if it's over 18. You know, you're less likely to have a bad experience at the cinema. Even though adults are assholes as well, but if you go and watching a film and you don't have like a child, you know, like messing about.
I find
behind
adults
you.
more annoying than kids. I don't care if there's like a kid, maybe not like a baby crying, obviously we don't really hear that, but sometimes there's a kid like shuffling about and chatting, like whispering to his dad. That's not annoying to me because that's not deliberate. Whereas if it's an adult do it, what pisses me off is the fact that that person knows that they're making everyone around him annoyed and they just don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Honest to God, it's the worst thing. If I had that like No Country for Old Men like goat brain thing, I'd just be like killing people left, right, centre. Yeah,
That
that's
really went off topic,
the
wasn't it?
inconsiderate nature of it is what's annoying. But yeah, we did
Yeah.
get massively off topic.
So what makes a good psychological thriller, Adele?
I think you need to have a good premise. So there needs to be a good reason for people to be getting worked up in like a bad guy force with a certain, well, not even that, but there just has to be the right kind of stakes. I think it kind of has to be, the pacing is important. Like it's, sometimes you watch a film and you're like, oh, it's just constant fucking action, what's going on here? And sometimes it's like, you do need to stick a break in there.
Yeah.
So I think that kind of comes from like more experienced directors and stuff. But I'm not really sure. I think it's more like a decent storyline, quite well, same as any film, quite well acted. But I just think storyline kind of matters a lot more. Like with a rom-com or something, it's about like the chemistry between the people and like the background, whether it kind of looks nice and stuff. Whereas with a psychological thriller, like the story has to hold up, it has to make sense, and you have to care about the people, and there has to be like relatively reasonable stakes for you to really be that invested. If it's like if they're gonna miss their tea, then it's like, okay, no one gives a shit.
Imagine a psychological thriller trying to get home for dinner, but you can't get there because of all these different things happening.
Yeah.
I think it's important to have a good twist in a lot of them. Shutter Island has a twist, and
Fight Club does as well.
yeah, Cube does.
Yeah, a lot of them do.
Yeah. But like, not twists that you see coming. You know, when you try and figure it out and then it completely throws you in a different direction.
I think that kind of comes down to the director a lot. Like, do you know, they have to give away little clues.
Yeah.
Like sometimes, like with, so for example, with Donnie Darko, do you know at the start when they meet the Chinese girl at the bus stop,
Yeah.
he does a shot of like her looking a bit weirdly at him, the Chinese girl at Donnie, like looking at him a bit odd, and he because of that shot being added, I was like, okay, so the girl's got a thing for Donnie, and then the whole drop in the book just wasn't there for me. But I think as time moves on, directors learning how to be more subtle about giving away those tricks.
Yeah.
Because it used to be so easy, like you could just be like, oh, okay. The minute there was something a little bit weird and unusual information given to you, you'd be like, all right, so that's going to come in handy later. That's what they're going to use to beat the bad guy or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
What about you?
I think for me it's more, because not everything can kind of relate to me, but like if something kind of resonates with me, then, or that I can see can be something that's real, that could really
relatable.
happen, then it's something that can play in my mind. So it's stuff like Fight Club, stuff like Gone Girl, you know, that these things can really happen and stuff where it's like, oh shit, okay, this is like, you know, this is real. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think I understand, yeah, like that. I think that's a lot of what does well about these kind of things, is like it's whether it's relatable, whether you could think like, oh, I could just be living my life and then this exact situation could fall on my plate and I wouldn't know what to do and I'd be freaked out the same as this guy is and whatnot. And then you can kind of compare the way you think you'd react to the way that they do. I think a lot of the times you're kind of doing that subconsciously, but I think people do that.
Yeah, because I think the foundation of just a good story in general is the fact that it's just like ordinary people in extraordinary circumstances. So it's like you can relate to these people in these wonderful, wild, different worlds that you see them in. But at the same time, for this, it kind of has to be that, otherwise it's nothing. Because it's like there's some films I had on a list of on stuff that I don't particularly. Well, there's one that I kind of like, which I know you do as well. It's one of your favourite films, actually, The Strangers.
Yes.
Like, that's something that can just purely happen.
Yeah.
Like, have you seen The Strangers?
Is that the one with Timothy? Is that like a one with he's like a farmer, Timothy Oliphant, or is this a different film?
No, I think
No.
it's a different one. It's just basically like a home invasion
No, I've not
film. And it's just these guys like messing around with the people who live inside. It's like Eden Lake,
seen it.
another psychological thriller. It's literally just these kids who torture this couple that are near them just because they can.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, this could actually happen. Especially as I get older as well, certain stuff like that you see, you're like, oh, no, this is a bit...
That's why it freaks me out. That and it's probably more towards horror, but The Purge. Like the concept of if that happened, and then you're like, well, what would I do? Would I do this? Would I do that? And you throw yourself into that situation.
Purge, yeah. Really good for like multi-leveled as well. Like it's making a lot of social kind of commentary points as well. I think that's kind of cool. When a film's doing like the whole thing's kind of a metaphor for a different point the person's trying to make.
Yeah.
See, I thought, like, going through, like, we all pretty much just did this, did the same thing by just typing in psychological thrillers to Google and seeing what kind of came up. But I was a bit shocked at some of the films that actually came up under it.
Yeah, I noticed that
Like,
as well.
so, especially Inception as well. I wouldn't really consider that a psychological thriller, but I guess if it's something that kind of plays with your mind.
The Shining came up as well, which I was like, okay, that does kind of make sense, but it's also, I wouldn't probably name it as that.
I'd probably call it more horror than... I don't know.
I don't know. I think with psychological thrillers, a lot of the credit has to be given to the director, because I think in order for it to work, it kind of has to be directed really well. Like the whole film has to suit the kind of energy. Like with Seven, everything's kind of dark and gloomy, and like just the whole film feels like the right. Like even with Prisoners, the whole film feels like that fucking awful headspace he's in. I think you like with other films you get by on like. I keep shitting on rom-coms there, but like, do you know you can have those like same? Do you know where they do like a cutscene is like a helicopter shot over New York and like everything's kind of the same and you've seen it before.
Yeah.
That I don't feel like that would work with a psychological thriller. Like you have to come at it with something new.
Yeah, I get that.
Every bit of it, like with Fight Club and the intro credits going through the brain and things, like every bit of it is kind of worked at to add to the actual energy, like the feeling of the whole film.
I was gonna say, like, as soon as you said that, when you kind of look at psychological thrillers, there's not really many wide shots like that to show like a landscape. It's always kind of very enclosed, so it's always like two shots, or just kind of like showing the actual scene. It's not rather like a massive thing of a city. It's always very close in.
I think that takes you out of the stakes, doesn't it? Like
Well,
once
if you
you go
out,
out, you're like, oh, it's just a guy, normal guy. Who cares what's happening to him? It's just one guy. Whereas it keeps you focused in on this guy and whatever plight the person's going through. But yeah, I do think it comes to other genres can be like about the lead actor or about who wrote it or whatever. But I think psychological go a lot down to the director keeping the whole kind of piece together.
Yeah.
Very profound. Hey, you got anything else to say about psychological thrillers?
I don't.
No.
I don't think of anything.
There was one I did want to bring up because I remember seeing it ages ago, and it's more kind of like a little mini recommendation. But it's a film called The Talented Mr. Ripley.
Yeah.
Have you heard of it? Yeah.
No.
It's a good film.
Great film. It's Matt Damon and Jude Law and Gwyneth Paltrow. And Matt Damon's character basically becomes kind of obsessed with Jude Law's character about his lifestyle.
Right.
And he always kind of wants to be in his shadow sort of thing, and it starts to get a bit creepy because like he's kind of lingering on too much, and then you kind of start to realise he wants to kind of be him.
Right.
So it's kind of like this chase on, is he this person now, or is he going to do something about it? And it's like a really like high stakes sort of thing, even though it's not really like a big high stakes thing. It's just like, oh shit, what's going to happen next?
Yeah.
So
it's a subtle one as well. That's just kind of like just little ways they interact with each other.
yeah,
Like he kind of gets obsessed with Gwyneth Paltrow, doesn't he?
yeah,
I miss when she did good films.
yeah.
She's not bad. Just
No,
a bit
she's not.
batshit. Yeah, it's a good,
that's,
it's a good film to
that's just a
recommend.
tie up for my psychological thrillers recommendations. Really.
It's
It's a
set,
little mini recommendation.
Mini
it's a
recommendation.
cool one to look at as well, isn't it? Like it's set all over Europe or like somewhere in France or something. So there's a bunch of like they go on walks and shit in cool scenes. Mini recommendation, nice.
Thanks. So, shall I move on to the film tip of the week and shall we wrap this up? Is that the show, pretty much?
Basically, yeah, I think so.
Alright, so my film tip of the week, I actually did it in advance this time.
I know.
Nice.
So
See if
basically,
it's any good.
it's also a mini plug as well, because this is something we're going to be talking about in the Filmmaker's Guide, which will be coming out soonish. We've had to kind of push production back a little bit, but I was on a roll. Stop
So
it.
stop looking at the microphone.
But yeah, basically, when writing a story, always work with what you have. So if you're young, play to your strengths and do like a film to do about youth. Don't be trying to do a film that's kind of too big. Like, for example, I did a film called Of Two Minds as a college project, which is basically kind of like a mini version of Inception, but with kids aged 19 to 20 with not much experience. It doesn't really kind of pan out well, even though the idea is good.
Yeah.
Just the execution isn't. So yeah, just try and work with what you've got, because if you've got like an idea for a location, like a specific scene that's to do with this massive hotel but you don't have access to a hotel, then change the idea. So that's my film tip of the week.
Thank you.
Nice.
And we'll be going through and we'll be going through something like that more in the Filmmaker's Guide, which will be coming out soon.
Ish.
So yeah, that's the show this week, guys.
You're going to recommend a film for next week?
Oh yeah!
And the genre.
Oh yeah, forgot about that. It's
Nice
my
pick.
turn to recommend a film, and I'll also be taking over the draft. So that means
will.
you will be making your debut performance
We'll
as
see how
part of
well
the
that
draft.
goes.
The film draft. So yeah, we're talking about superhero films next week,
Yeah.
and I'm
Shambles.
and I'm gonna be recommending Watchmen.
Okay.
Nice. I've seen that before. Soph hasn't. I haven't seen it for a while. I really enjoyed it when I did see it. Boom. Summary.
Anything else you want to say before we wrap up?
Nope.
Well,
I'm good also.
well, thank you to everyone for listening, especially if you've made it this far. We do congratulate you.
Congratulations.
If you want to find out more about what we do, then please visit wehaveatripod.com to learn all about who we are and what we do. Or you could just head over to our YouTube channel, because that's where all of our stuff is. You can check us out on... It's alright, I'll do it. You're not in the right mind space. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram if you want to keep up to date. And if you want to help out the show, you can head over to Patreon. You can chip in some money if you want to, but you don't have to. It's fine. That's just to help us. If you want, it'd be much appreciated if you do it. It's alright. Never mind. I'm Matt Lister,
I'm a Dylan.
I'm Sophie Alice.
and that's Tripod Talk this week, guys. We did it. Group high five. Oh, both of us. Oh,
Alright.
both of us.
Wait, with the mic.
Don't hit Mike.
Hey.
Hey, we nailed it. Right. See you
Also,
next- oh.
some
Also.
royalty free on SoundCloud.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
SoundCloud.
Royalty free stuff. We do that, and it's also now on SoundCloud.
Where the podcast will be
Where the
going up very
podcast will be up soon as well. Yeah.
Yay.
Yay.
Smooth.
And we'll also be on iTunes soon.
Hey.
I can't tell
Hey.
who's worse of a host out of me and you. I think Dill should do it.
Hey.
I'm not going to do it, but I'm going to end up doing it by proxy, aren't I?
You had 10, if not 11. No, you had
do
10
love a
episodes to get used to it, and you didn't.
Oh,
so.
do we do 10 each then? we'll you barely hosted
Yeah,
this
we'll just keep doing that. Okay, bye guys.
time. Bye.
See you next
See ya.
week. See ya.
See ya.
See ya.
No
No.
one's left.